Now, having said this, and I hope you understand this, we all together, nod your head. Look at your neighbor, nod your head. I'm watching you. Having said this, that does not mean there is not a work for us to do. The Bible is chock full with admonitions for you and me to buckle up, to knuckle under, and to get to work. Pick up your cross daily. What's that? Sounds like work. Train yourself to be godly. Put to death what is earthly in you. Do not be conformed to this world. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. Love one another as I have loved you. And there's 59 other one another verses in the Bible of things that you and I are to do. And we see this same holy synergy in Psalm 18. Look at verse 32. We see God's work, grace, bookending David's work. Verse 32, God equipped me with strength. There it is, grace. Verse 33, He made my feet like the feet of a deer. Verse 34, He trains my hands for war. Verse 35, You have given me the shield of your salvation. Your right hand supported me. Verse 36, You gave a wide place for my steps under me. Now notice verse 37, I pursued my enemies and overtook them. Verse 38, I thrust them through so they were not able to rise. They fell under my feet. Then, verse 39, back to grace we go. You equipped me with strength for the battle. Verse 40, You made my enemies turn their backs to me. Verse 42, back to David, I beat them fine as dust. Love the poetry. I cast them out like mire. Verse 43, back to God. You delivered me from strife with the people. You made me the head of nations. Who's working? God or David? Yes! Though God's work, notice, God's work envelops and enfolds all of David's work here in this psalm. I cannot read Psalm 18 and not feel passion and fire and determination welling up inside of me to give my Lord everything I have. And I hope you feel the same way as we read that. Now, it's hard to believe, but we've been in this COVID quarantine now for 3 stinking months. A quarter of a year. I want to ask you, lock eyes with me. Again, I'm watching you. Lock eyes with me. Spiritually speaking, how have you used that time? No, don't you get up and go get a cup of coffee. Sit down. How have you grown in your faith these last 3 months? Are you reading the Bible daily now? You remember 3 months ago we began giving you that challenge. Let's learn how to read the Bible every day. And let's learn the 3-step method. And we've posted a couple dozen devotions on the website now to show you how to do that. So how's it going in your Bible reading? Are you having family devotions regularly now? You praying with your spouse more regularly? Are you praying your kids before you tuck them into bed at night? Parents, have you learned how to lead the way in discipling your kids? I wonder how many 30-second stories have you added to your library in these last 3 months? How many spiritual books have you gotten read? Did you get the Unstuck Church finished? We talked about it over and over again. How many of you attended one of the 6 workshops that we hosted over these last 3 months? What spiritual habits have you fortified during this time? What sins and bad habits have you brought to heal? How have you served your neighbor, and your community, and your church family during this time? Look, my point is not to make you feel guilty or to condemn you. Well, maybe just a little. Did it work? No. That's between you and God if you feel conviction. And you talk about conviction. This one is on me as the pastor. It occurred to me the other day that while our women have been doing the very best that they can during these last 3 months in terms of connecting to each other. They've been supporting each other. They're on social media with each other. They're in little Bible studies. Their triads are still going on. Man, the sisters are bringing it. High five to the sisters right now. But the guys, ever since that men's conference fell apart in mid-March, I think most of us are just floating through space, to be honest. Oh, we're working, we're keeping busy. In fact, as I've been talking to a lot of you guys, you're busier than you've ever been. But are we spiritually connecting with each other? Are we growing in our faith? Are we sharing our hearts and praying for one another? And again, I'm saying that's on me. And in whatever time we have left in our COVID quarantine, we're going to try and take some baby steps to remedying some of that. Because, guys, we need each other. My point is not to make us feel guilty. My point is just to get us to think. 3 months is a long time. It is a big chunk of change. So what have you done with it? And if not a whole lot, then why not? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it? Because God's been at work in you this whole time, or you wouldn't be here this morning. Don't you think it's time for us to give our all to God?